Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the 14th of September, the country is witnessing the new regime, the fifth regime, after President Uhuru Kenyatta peacefully handed over power to his deputy, whom they worked with for 10 years in executive. Now, when the new administration sinks in, we expect administrative changes that perhaps are meant to streamline operations as fashioned by the new government. And I want to make a very keen observation that if you look at the new quick wins and the quick boxes that President Dr. William Samoei Ruto ticked on his first day in office, you can see a president that wants to have the rule of law core on his administration. And this is compared to President Uhuru Kenyatta, who was perceived as someone who really disobeyed court orders. And Ruto is trying to lay a ground to show himself as his administration will actually obey the rule of law. But on the other end, this morning I bumped on Robert Alai's, I just see a tweet on Robert Alai's Twitter page, and he's shared a report about resignations of some civil servants under the DCI HQ. And he shared that tweet. That is the image that you can see on your screen. And he tweeted, "Why are they resigning en masse?" And if you look at that, is just, I think it is just the last page of that letter. And a total of 7 civil servants who formerly works under, one worked under forensic, formerly DCI department, banking, fraud, and all that. All of them are under the DCI. Now, there are a total of 7 servants in total, but there is something that was really out in Oduor's first speech. He mentioned that he's going to give financial autonomy to the office of Inspector General, so that the Inspector General becomes the Chief Financial Officer. And under that docket, the DCI falls in under that category. And that was one of the ways that was put to curb what, according to the new administration, was an ill-intentional strategy used by Uhuru Kenyatta's regime to weaponize these agencies so that they can be used on matters corruption, or rather, instead of one way to curb corruption, so that these organizations are not at this discretion of the president. In some analysis, I'll have to look at that deeply. Now, Robert Lai is asking a question: why are people resigning? Why are they resigning? And I also want to ask in this analysis is, why are people resigning? Why do you think they're resigning? Very strategic investigative agencies. And of course, I am one person that is persuaded that no one will just leave a job without no reason. And it's not that easy, or it's not normal. And it's a question that people are asking. I want to bring to attention something. I got a clip by Raphael Tuju, and I want to play for you that clip, where the people that worked with President Uhuru Kenyatta, I think, sold fear to the civil servants by telling them that if William Ruto was to come to government, then they will even go to exile. And of course, one person that sublimed from the public scene is one Fred Matiang'i, who we understand flew to the US to take up a United Nations job there, yet to be officially confirmed. But I wanted to listen to Raphael Tuju and decode really what Tuju is saying is what is playing out.
Sasa kama ameanza hiyo vita na Kinoti, je, akichukua Kinoti ataishi nchi yetu Kenya?
Anasema kwamba ataenda nyumbani akiingia.
Si amesema ataenda nyumbani akiingia. Kwenda nyumbani si kitu. Mimi nafikiria mtu kama Kinoti na labda Raphael Tuju tutatafuta nchi nyingine ya kwenda. Yes. Tutatafuta nchi nyingine ya kwenda. Kwanza Kinoti atalazimishwa aende exile. Vile Kirayutu alienda exile.
They have made beyond the call of duty has kept our nation safe. I am aware that our uniformed services effectively resisted concerted attempts to foment unrest and subvert the will of the people. I will work with all Kenyans, irrespective of who they voted for. Our special gratitude also goes to millions.
Now, that statement by Tuju created a perception that Ruto's regime was going to rain rock on them. But if you look at the language, the body language, the tone, Ruto sounds gentleman, calm, and some total humility. And not what truly people would expect. But that aside, you need also to just ask yourself, what do you think are some of the things that might bring this? Now, this will have an effect on some specific operations or other issues that now are coming the light of this. So I think it's also important for us to understand the context in which all this is happening. I see rebirth of cases, and some of them might collapse. So remember, at the height of campaigns, the DPP, I think the DCI, agreed by consensus that they were not going to execute corruption cases until the next government is formed, because they did not want to be excused to be blamed for using some of those cases to affect, maybe to demonize other candidates. So maybe one thing that you can see, because this is an investigative agency, is the risk is that there are cases that might collapse because the people that are in charge of the files that are then may not find their way in court. And to that effect, it's not really something that is going to augur well. Now, but there is the fear of unknown. There is the fear of unknown, and this is one thing that you must see. When Rigathi Gachagua was speaking in Kasarani, he was on a very revenge mode and was taking personal attack on president. And one thing, I listened to Rigathi's the deputy president speech when he was talking to journalists back home. You could feel the way he was very bitter. And even in Kasarani, he could not hold. It was more of venye nilishikwa, my family who stood there with me, I was persecuted and all that. He's so much vengeful. And remember, some of those cases of the organization, some of those cases were the ones executed through, maybe investigated through the DCI. So if you listen to the way Rigathi Gachagua is talking, but on the other side, you see President William Ruto saying that we are not going to revisit those cases. We are not going to go after those who are against us. We are going to work with everyone, even civil servants. And by the way, civil servants can be in opposition and work with the government. Yes, there are people who are in government and they voted Raila Odinga. They're not going to leave those jobs because Raila did not become president. The people who voted for the Kenya Kwanza team, and they are in government. So when it comes to civil servants, you can't be in opposition, or rather you embrace opposition, but you're in government. That's why between 2013 to 2017, you would realize that there was a lot of corruption dossiers that Raila Odinga was releasing, and really propagated, propelled his politics by then, opposition politics by then, were coming out of government. So it seems there are things that still happen that are there. But then, I saw the Turkish guy, the Turkish businessman, in State House, Ayadin, who was deported. Some people say unceremoniously, was deported out of the country last year in, I think that was in August, after controversy that involved an investment that I think was in Uganda or in Kenya or something, and the Turkish guy was arrested by the ATPU, Anti-Terror Police Unit, if that department exists. It was arrested and deported. I saw him back, and so I was just wondering, now that he's back, are they going to dig deep and find out what happened last time? Are they going to dig further? And how did it happen? By the way, Miguna should also be very worried, because huyu lienda nje juzi, is back. You'll not be shocked to see the 3 Venezuelans who worked for IBC back in the country. Now, lifestyle audit called by ESCC could also be sending shivers. Remember, ESCC mentioned that the outgoing civil servants and the incoming civil servants, and I think the elected leaders need to show the world the next 30 years. And while people have designed different ways and strategies of escaping this dragnet, this audit queries, but you never know, some of them can also be used against you. You can go and say I have 1 million, but people behind you know that you have 10 million. So through that, cases start emerging. So I also see that being an issue. But I think that William Ruto will have to really have an element of continuity and maintain quite a number of Uhuru Kenyatta's people worked with Uhuru Kenyatta civil servants for continuity, because there is a fight against corruption, and the good lawyer Abdul Nasir was saying that you need to go after corruption. As we talked about economic recovery, and he has a plan, which yes is one that we'll also have to interrogate at some point. But I realized that he was not so keen on corruption. He did not. Yes, he spoke about the operationalization, strengthening the institutions of judiciary and the police. But I also feel we did not get to real issues that need to be done in terms of addressing corruption. He did not mention the word corruption, in simple terms. So this to me might be there, and some of these people leaving will be weak links in terms of government strategies to tighten ways of curbing corruptions. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my analysis, and you can get us. And what do you think of Ruto's government? For me, if you ask me, I think it's a matter of wait and see, because they're short-term, medium-term, and long-term. And they have already asked Kenyans to be a little bit patient with them. They're taking over an economy that, according to them, is dilapidated. That is according to Rigathi Gachagua. They're asking for some calm, but this is 2 days or day one, and you're already asking people to wait. What I don't know is how long whether people have the luxury of waiting. Asanteni sana.